Students were frank with their opinions.
What do you think the biggest difference between the American lifestyle and the Russian lifestyle is?
I think that in America it's okay to have sex, but it is very bad for teenagers. It is very bad to drink. But in our country, we can drink, but if I have sex, it is bad. I am a bad girl, and people think that I'm crazy.
The surprising and provocative comments gave the students a real chance to hear how they saw each other's cultures. Of course, it wasn't all work. The Americans were invited to see a wide range of Russian culture. There was a traditional narrative dance performance, and a rock and roll concert. These were followed by other parts of Russian culture, giving gifts,
the flag of former USSR we got from our Russian friends, and some of our friends would like to have it, but I think it goes to Spectrum.
To our American friends in the memory of rock and roll tonight from the chamber.
Is it loud enough?
and offering food.
I've only got 2 on it.
Lena talked about traditional Ural folk crafts.
Painting is usually made of 3 or 4 layers of oil paint. It is very complex.
And Stephanie introduced her Native American ancestry to Omnibus.
When we first arrived, you probably thought of us all as one group. We were all Americans, and probably to us, you were all Russians. And then gradually we start to see individual personalities, and you understand that Ermina is from Yugoslavia, and maybe you understand that I'm part Italian and other Americans are part German, but there's that diversity. There's many different people in both our country and your country. And today, Stephanie is going to tell you something about her particular nationality, the Native American people, the S'Klallam Nation in Washington State.
Okay, well, I'm here to talk about my people, the S'Klallam tribe. We're a very small tribe located in northwestern Washington, sort of in the Straits. This is about
She had books to share and talked about the Native American cultural revival. She even showed the Russians how to make dream catchers.
One of the beliefs is that it will, if you hang it by your bed at night, it will catch your bad dreams.
Choose any color you want?
Okay.
Yeah. Take this.
How would you say?
There were other elements to the cultural exchange. Russian students of various ages developed projects dealing with self-expression and human rights with art teacher Sherry Strymikes.
And look at pictures.
And the students worked with Omnibus acting director Sasha Nagovitsyn, a filmmaker, to put together a co-production of Russian author Mikhail Bulgakov's Heart of a Dog.
In the middle of the street? No, I think not, sir. I do not think this is plausible at all. I can very well believe that Isadora Duncan, who so aptly mentioned just a few moments ago, partakes of food in her bedroom.
Brian also presented a reading of Edgar Allan Poe's The Raven.
On the morrow he will lead me as my hopes have flown before, and then this bird said, nevermore.
Late one night, a former Soviet dissident, Andrei Mironov, paid a visit to the group. He talked about his life under the Soviet regime and about his arrest in 1985 for communicating with foreigners.
Of course, I was involved in some illegal political activities. means to read the books and spread the books which were prohibited. I read what I wanted and I talked what I wanted. It was quite normal for very many people.
Andrei was released in 1986, but he said there are still problems.
Of course, people are not imprisoned now for communication with foreigners, for political statements, but for some other reasons. Sometimes for political statements, yes, like in Bashkortostan.
This was part of the program on human rights. Andrei's visit gave the students a chance to witness a life dedicated to this principle. Nermina also had a contribution to make. She talked about her experiences in Bosnia.
Country where I grew up, it had many nationalities in it. It had maybe like, I don't know, seven nationalities. I don't know, we lived together all the time, and it was really, it didn't mean anything to us that other people were other nationalities, and just, I was so proud of it. I was so happy, and I would always say, you know, nobody will divide us. We'll always stay together.
Did you guys ever, like, ever suspect or even think that maybe there would be a war started, you know, before? Yeah.
We made jokes about it happening and how funny it would be if it happens. And we even had this group on TV that would make jokes, and they made like TV program about my city being divided into eastern and western part with the wall, and it was so funny for us. It was 2 years before the war started, and right now the city is divided. It's unbelievable that it is. It's divided in 2 parts.
Nermina recalled how close the war had come, and she talked about how devastating it was for people her age.
I don't hate, and I think my friends don't hate me. I hope. And, you know, I still hope for some future for us, that one day we'll still live together, but...
Why they can't stop them? Because just people are fighting.
Yeah, you know, it's easy for me to say, you know, stop the war, stop the hatred, because in my family, I mean, some people have been killed, and my friends have been killed. You know, I feel it's hard. Oh yes, and I think it's really important. But some people cannot forgive, because to some people this thing happened that they just woke up one day and they saw some man standing in the front yard, you know, shooting at their parents, at their brother or sister, and you know, they will never be able to forgive. They just live for revenge.
The stark realities of Nermina's life in Bosnia are a reminder of what the Cold War could have led to. Exchanges like this take on a powerful purpose, to inoculate a new generation against that possibility.
I was always expecting somebody to come over and say, "Huh, America," you know, I was really scared about that. It's one of the things, you know, because we've been like enemies for so long, but as I talked to more and more people, I realized that they had the same feelings as I.
All too soon, the time drew to a close. The train station in Yekaterinburg was the site of the first of many goodbyes. How can we measure the success of this trip? Well, first of all, the exchange is continuing. 5 omnibus students and teacher Lena Kiselova are coming to Spectrum this year. Second, some strong friendships were formed.
When I talk with Jessie, I find out very interesting things. It's great.
And finally, each student got that irreplaceable gift, the chance to change and to see themselves in a new light.
People say I've changed like the most, I guess, because when I was at school and stuff, all I do was like read, really, and I never talked unless people asked me questions.
I almost passed up coming here a lot. I mean, I had second thoughts a lot, but I'm glad I came, and I would just encourage anyone who might have an opportunity like this to go through with it.
The experience changes you, and I didn't expect that it changed me like this. You know, I figured that, you know, I might know a few more things, you know, something about the language and everything, but I really have a lot of different views about a lot of other things.